And back in Civic Center, we have one game in the history book right now and another one coming up. All right. We also have some quick figures here, Frank, okay? You wondered about the points. Westward, Garrick had 28. He's the hero. Groska, 20. They shot 27 out of 51. But get this now, 15 out of 20 from the free throw stripe. They won it from there because Rogers had one more field goal. They had 28, but only 11 out of 18. And high scorers, a lot of guys in double figures here. Keith Anderson had 10. Murray, good guard, had 10. Mike Lorian, 14. He fouled out. Smith had 10 in the ball game. Bill Brown had 14. But the difference right there, field goal at the end of the ball game, and that kind of did it. All right. What a game. That's about the best game we ever had on here.
In the 4 years now that we've been doing this, I have to agree with you. That was really something. Came down to a couple of foul shots at the end, and then Mr. Garrick taking control with the winning basket for West Warwick.
And how about the end shot? Had Murray been able to get that off maybe a half a second to a second? I had to wait and looked at the official. No doubt about it.
Well, there were a lot of people screaming. Granted, they were Rogers fans. They were screaming it went. It went before the buzzer, but it's judgment call, and I guess if we played the tape back, we'd probably find that it did get off a little bit late.
Oh, I think it was a good call, but you still had to wait. You want to make sure that you're right, you know? All righty, now, here we go, Class A. And we have two fine teams here. We have Hendricken, and we have Classical. Ray Pepin versus Don Pastine. And interesting, too, about, their move along the line, along the ladder, to get here to the final game. How did they get here? Okay, in Class A, in quarterfinals, Our Lady of Providence, we say Hendricken North defeated Central. We move along. You see the flashing teams as winner. Hendricken winning over North Providence. Our Lady of Providence winning over Central. Semifinals, Hendricken. They beat Our Lady of Providence 62-52. In the other bracket, we had some excitement galore. St. Raphael's over LaSalle. Classical took Woonsocket 72-57. In the semis, we had Classical topping St. Raphael's. So there it is. The matchup here tonight, which will be another beauty for the championship in Class A, and that will pit Hendricken going against Classical. So that's how we got here. And I'll tell you, we play another game like the first game. This crowd will never forget this evening. Interesting teams here. The two finalists in Class A.
That's right, rematch from last year. Of course, Hendricken coming in here against Classical. Hendricken, the defending champ, defeated Classical last year. And, of course, when we talk about Hendricken, we talk about that Hendricken tradition and how they are expected to win, and they are expected to be in the finals. They've been here. This is their 7th time in the finals. And we, of course, going up one of the best freshmen in the state. And that, of course, is Julius Sacco. He didn't play in the semifinals on Wednesday, but he'll be in there for Classical come this evening. So it's Classical and Hendricken. Let's take a look at those two teams.
That's what Coach Pastine told us the first meeting of the year. He said character's what's going to put it back in the finals. We lost a lot of seniors last year. Manny Barros, excellent player. We've made up for it. Sweeney's played great all year. Everybody, guys off the bench, just been a total team effort, and we're enjoying it.
Classical enjoyed the taste of victory even without freshman Julius Sacco, who sat out the semifinal win over St. Raphael with a suspension. Sacco will be back for tonight's title tilt, thanks to his teammates' shorthanded efforts.
I don't know what to say. When it comes down to it, we just dig deep. We dug deep a couple of times this year. We came through.
Coming through is a way of life at Bishop Hendricken. The Hawks are making their 7th consecutive appearance in the Class A championship game. Living with the expectation of victory is a welcome pressure. It's tradition.
Well, I think it kind of helps us because we know that, we're kind of are expected to get in there. And last year we have 5 kids that played in the game last year, so there shouldn't be much pressure in this game. I think it'll really help us. Another thing is nobody at Hendricken's won the state championship this year except the cross country, so everyone's kind of expecting us to win one for us.
I think if anything the 7 years does, it just makes my hair a little grayer.
Pepin's weapons include forward Stephen Williams, who can personally take over a game, as he did in the opening 16 minutes of the semifinals.
Stephen Williams had 15 in the first half out of our 23. I don't know what he ended up with the game with, but he's just a magnificent basketball player.
You really can't stop Stephen Williams. He's so quick, he jumps well, he can play inside, outside. He's the heart of the team, no doubt about it. Our contention, I hope, is to try to shut down the other guys. I mean, try to contain Stephen somewhat. You can't contain it. You can't stop a great player. He's going to get his. Steve won't hurt you so much with points as everything else he does.
Which includes clearing out the middle from the midst of much taller players. They are bigger, although Williams won't admit it.
Them guys are a lot tall, not really that much taller than me, but I just try to keep my own down low.
He can get 15 points and be an All-American out there by giving the ball up, blocking shots. He's at 6'1", he's an intimidator. It's hard to believe, but he's an intimidator at 6'1".
Pastine can call on many sources himself, one of whom is Lou Major, whose bombs ended St. Ray's hopes of reaching the championship game. Major is Rhode Island's Iceman.
I wasn't as courageous as Louis. Other than I wanted it as much as he did when I was a player.
To want. It's a feeling all classical players know well.
We're really looking forward to playing Hendricken Sunday night. We're both good teams. We had a good game with them last year. We kind of thought we were the better team last year, but the better team doesn't always win in sports. So hopefully we'll be the better team and we'll win Sunday.
You know, I really think we deserve another chance at Hendricken in the finals. Payback. That's it, payback.
St. Ray's is tough, but as you can watch on Sunday because we are back. We are back.
Set to go for our second game. You know, Dan Sylvester, winning West Word coach, Mark walked by a moment ago, and Dan said to us, well, I know this second game's going to be good as ours, but you never can tell. It was a good game. The coaches coming up here, well, a couple of fellas right down there in the court right now with Frank Carpano, Don Pastine, and Ray Pepin. And Frank, what do you think about all of this?
Well, we're going to find out, Chris. Ray Pepin, Don Pastine, thank you very much for joining us. Your thoughts on the game coming up tonight?
Well, I think it's going to be a great game. Last year's final between the same two teams was hard-fought and well-played, and I wouldn't expect anything different tonight. Maybe a few more points than was scored last year, I would think. But I think it'll be a great ball game.
One of your players, Don, that was not here last year, that is of course, Julius Sacco. How much of a difference is he going to make?
Well, he gives us a big strength in the middle. I'm able to have Reed play forward with Julius in the middle, utilize Michael's speed and weak side rebounding, and I can rely on Reed making that 12, 14-foot jump shot when we need it.
What do you know about Sacco? Best freshman in the state?
He's had a great impact on the state of Rhode Island. He had a great game against us early in December when we beat Classical at Classical. I think he had 22 points, and that was like his third or fourth game as a varsity basketball player, so I think that's an indication of what you can expect. That was 2 months ago, and he's done nothing but get better.
One of the key things about your teams, Ray, is its depth, and you send in 11 men on the average each game. Do you plan to stick to that game plan?
I would think so. I think we'll play at least 9 and hopefully 11. It was a factor in the OLP game because they have a tendency only to play 6 or 7. I don't know how much of a factor it will be tonight because Classical uses more people than OLP does, but we'll try and get 9 or 10 people into the game in the first half.
Don, what about your bench? How do you plan to utilize them?
Well, we usually run in 9 consistently. Ray can go 11 without losing anything. I go beyond 9, I'm struggling. You know? But we have multiple players. Like Louis Major can go in at guard or forward, and there are a couple of guys, Alan Force can go at guard or forward. So we're able to utilize 2 key bench personnel at multiple positions, so it's a big asset.
Now, Louis Major, against St. Ray's, he was a star. He had to be pushed into a starting role because Julius Sacco had a 1-game suspension. Is it hard now to sit him back down and make him the 6th man again?
One of the happiest guys after the game last Wednesday was Louis Major, the fact that, you know, Julius is back. He led the cheer in the locker room. All right, we got Julius, and of course Julius was ecstatic also. No, Louis accepts his position. He'd rather come off the bench. He could have started for me at any point in time in the season, but he has a greater impact on the game and gives a little boost when he comes off the bench in key situations.
Ray, how has your team changed over the past year? Of course, you're led by Sean Hensler and Steve Williams.
I think we're a better offensive team than we were last year, and I think we're a better rebounding team. Our defense has been very good all season. I don't know if we've reached the level of defense that we played last year. Hopefully tonight we will.
Talk to me a little bit about Hendricken tradition and the pressure that's put on the team to reach the finals each year.
Yeah, this is the 7th one in a row, and I think it was a relief to win the game Thursday night because I think the kids would have been looked upon as failures had they not reached the final. we talked to the kids today before the game back at Hendricken at a shoot-around that we had, and there were no losers tonight. We told them that either team, someone will be called a champion, but that's because it has to be that way. There'll really be no losers tonight. Whoever gets here to the finals has already had a successful season and is a winner.
Just to regress a little bit, your thoughts on that last game, one of the most spectacular games that we've had here on our 4 years of televised finals.
Well, you know, the ball bounced our way. I think that we were fortunate to win that game. I think Donald will agree with me. Sean Hensler made some pressure shots down the stretch. Jerry Habershaw hit some foul shots. And when you put it together, we got away with an overtime victory. But anytime you win in overtime, obviously, you could have lost it just as easily. So I think tonight's game is going to be a repetition of last year's, except perhaps more points scored.
Don, you talked to us Wednesday night about last year how Classical was big and Hendricken was quick, and now the roles are reversed. So how does that change the game plan?
Well, they're very big. They got 2 6'8" out there. They got good size. Yeah, we have some talent, but the point is they're very, very big. Yeah. I agree with Ray. Last year's game was decided by his exceptionally defensive coaching. His team did a great job in that fourth quarter and overtime. Of course, you know, hopefully if we get in that situation, we'll know better what to do this time. I'm looking for a running game for that. I think we're going to have to push the ball up the floor. His size might be a detriment. Then again, if his size might stop us from running because he might control the boards. We've got to crash the boards to be effective.
Now, rumor has it that you're Ray Pepin's PR man for that URI job.
Oh, couldn't tell you. I hope, not because I love Ray, I hope this is the last game he has to coach for Hendricken. He'll do a great job up there, URI. I hope they give him a shot. And all the coaches in the state are rooting for him. And I really hope this is the last time I face you, pal. You know, good luck.
Hey, he's a sweet talker, isn't he? He can soften you up, maybe, you know, let him win the game tonight.
He means that. And the future will tell in the next couple of weeks what happens. I wouldn't be disappointed to be back here next year in a Greater Providence Trust final.
Well, congratulations, both of you gentlemen, on reaching the final, and best of luck in the game. Talk to you afterwards. Very good. Don Pastine from Classical, Ray Pepin from Hendricken. Sure enough, a great game ahead. But right now, back upstairs to Chris Clark for the introduction of tonight's starting lineups.